DC Pride 2025. Now, of course, this is the annual thing that DC does every time for Pride Month, and that is that they do a big celebration of showcasing a bunch of their Pride characters. I always say Pride because I always get the letters mixed up, so please forgive me, and all that. So, but I remember reading the first one, and I actually reviewed it. If you want to if you want to hear my thoughts on the first like DC Pride book, and I quite enjoyed it. Last I checked, I think I quite enjoyed it. And but the and I thought I was going to read 2022s and 3 and 4, but I never did. And I said, you know what? Stop it. I'm reading 2025s. And I just finished reading it. And it's quite different because in the original one, it was a collection of stories. You know, you had like a Harley Quinn story, you had a Batwoman story, you had a Constantine story, you had like a Midnight story. You have a dreamer, a dreamer story, and and it's all collected in this one book. This is different. This is one big giant story, and I won't lie, I found it to be heavily bloated. I felt like this is a 78, I think it finished at 79 pages that could easily have 20 pages less. This didn't need to be that bloated. It didn't need to be that bloated whatsoever, because it just felt like there was a lot of redundancy, really. Now, the story is, and I like the story here, that way back in the 30s, during World War II, Alan Stark, the first Green Lantern, and his partner Johnny, craves a love heart at this bar, this West one, at this bar, and it's a way that, because it's the 1930s, they have to keep it closeted, and they, just brought this love heart, thinking it was just something to express their love and know it's there and that whole thing, right? But later through time, the bar becomes a gay bar. And that bar and that wall has photos and other cravings and different carvings, different type of carvings and messages from characters from the DC universe. And all suddenly they're getting sucked in. All those people are getting sucked into this wall and living their own reality, living their own type of peace. And it's one of those villains where, like, you understand where they're coming from. It's like, look, this is a world that, in the real world and in the DC universe, bigotry is a thing. And it's going to be harder, it's going to be torturous for a lot of people, some more than others, appear where they are in the world and where they are in life in general. It's going to be a more harder, sometimes even dangerous, just for being who they are. So our villain is trying to create a reality where they just live what that they believe is that character's perfect life. So, for example, when Harley Quinn is in her reality, she's like the greatest psychiatrist ever. It's like she never met the Joker, or maybe she did, but didn't fall in love with him. But she's like a high-level psychiatrist on the big TV shows, and is like always, the guest spot on like the Oprahs and all that. And she's like at the high, is doing Gotham University lecture speeches and going to Wayne Enterprises and all that, but then there's something off. There's something off that makes her go, oh, something's not right. We get Osa Midnight, who are just living a world in a 1950s neighborhood, and for Midnight's work, he's hunting down and killing off the highest of the homophobic people that you can think of, right? The ones who point guns and say, you are the problem. You're poisoning our children. Those type of those type of people. And that's his reality. But then he realized something's not right. So, and what happens is you have this character named Ethan, and mostly Ethan, and then soon eventually Toya, aka the Question, walks, are picking all these other DC characters to come back to the main world, back to the main DC universe. And I thought, oh, okay, I kind of like it. I like how they're linking all together, we're getting different art styles, this is how they're linking different writers, linking different stuff, have someone doing the Harley scenes, have someone doing this scenes, the Aaron Stott stuff, the Question stuff, having the the Green Lantern stuff, with was it Joe from Far Sector, that character doing her story, I like it. But it becomes too much. It felt like, okay, we're just doing another one, and it felt at that point where you just feel, or at least for me as a reader, feel a little bit like, oh my god, can the story move forward? Can the story move forward here, please? And the one I think made me go, okay, this character's a little bit too much for me, is a character named Snowball. Now, Snowball, my understanding, is like a villain, and Snowball, it's meant to be like a Poison Ivy type villain, where we understand your motives, but we don't agree with your methods. And that is, we have a gender fluid villain who believes that the heroes ain't the heroes, that they are a bunch of homophobic, transphobic, people living in privilege. She believes that. They believe that Wonder Woman is, has a visual plane of tribute and or privilege and that type of thing. Hate to think what their thought would be when they found out who Batman is. Right? And if there's a slightly of ignorance or transphobic or homophobic, slur or thought or opinion, she can. They swipes them away. They frozen someone's laundry, frozen someone's lunch, and that, yeah. I just thought that character, just a little bit too much on the whole, cancelling, because, the whole, this character needs to be cancelled, this person needs to be cancelled, this person is cancelled. I just thought that character was a little bit too much for me, and I didn't understand, and then that point onwards with the little sections of different realities and what the lives they're living in. All the other characters beyond that, after that point, I thought, come on, let's get the story moving. And then we get the story moving, and then all suddenly it pauses again, because, okay, Alan Stott is in his reality, because it all links back to Alan Stott, and he, and they have to evince him. And you have the same scenes happening again and again and again and again, where it's literally Ethan and Vesper Toya of trying to evince Alan Stott to come back to his world, and he go back to the DC universe and become Green Lantern once again and all that, and he's like, oh no, this is heaven, and and then the next scene is basically the same scene. It just okay, now they're not having dinner now or lunch now. They're standing next to a lake, and now it's Johnny. Yeah, Johnny. Now it's Johnny trying to convince him to go back to the DC universe. It's kind of, And I'm like, okay, that's be kind of good. Evasive Victoria, and even you go and speak as well. Okay, you're saying the same dialogue, you're saying the same things. What's the point of this? Like, it felt so redundant. I get the idea you want Alistair to be very digging his heels that he does not want to leave this reality. And he and you need have a convincing, but God's sake, you could easily select a couple of pages off those scenes. And then they give us the main villain, and understand his motives, because, once again, that, the pride community in some parts of the world and parts of some people's lives, it's more dangerous than others. So he's like, I'm giving you an option, to live this world, live these opportunities, and the scene where Ethan and our villain is talking at the end, I thought it was wasn't really needed. Alistair puts the wing up. He does the thing. He closes the portal. The end. That's all it needed to happen. It just. I was enjoying it, reading it, enjoying most of it. It's just when bloody Snowman shows up, is when I go, okay, this is getting done. This is getting, okay, I'm feeling the length of this now. This doesn't feel a quick 79 pages. This feels like a slog starting. It feels like it's starting to turn into, hey, saying this word amid, something, a neat idea to a meh, okay idea, or with its execution. And it's just of that. Now, the other story that's at the very end, like the last 19 pages or something, is quite nice. It's kind of showing why these characters are important, why they keep doing this every year, why they keep doing these type of one-shot issues every year for celebrating Pride Month, because people need to be seen. Look, there's some people who are gay or trans or non-binary or anti-sexual, what have you, and they don't need to connect with people who are just like them, but some people do, and this is a way for them to connect that, and an opportunity for that, and that's what the final story is. So that's kind of sweet. That's a sweet little story. But this is the main one. Whoo! Bloated. Yeah. Anyway, if you read the issue, comment below and let me know your thoughts.